the stress, the eating disorders, working at a desk and a computer, what are some of people's best tools to address these challenges? And what are yoga teachers' best tools to help people address these challenges in a healing way?
So with the eating disorders and with another, what I would call a cultural issue that we have besides eating disorders, but the eating disorders feed into it, is we have an emptiness inside as people. So we do this whole thing. Like if I just get that cool motorcycle or I just get that wonderful car or that beautiful woman or man, or then I'll be fulfilled. And it's a nice high for a little while, kind of like eating chocolate, and then it makes you sick because it doesn't actually address the real need. I find that in our people in this century, there is a spiritual bereftness that is pandemic everywhere. And as a result, we have this emptiness. The upside of that is the old ways of manipulating us spiritually no longer are effective for a lot of people. And I think that is absolutely wondrous. The downside is that now it's like we can't just take our authorities for granted, like our church people or whoever, and say, well, if you do this, then you're cool, because it's not working anymore for so many of us. We have to go on quest now. And this is something I had to do for myself, was to reconnect with my spirit. And that took years of questing because I didn't even know what I was looking for. And so woven into the teachings of Forrest Yoga and in setting the intent every day, that option of working for connecting to your spirit or questing for it is put out there. And it's very much in the awareness of our Forrest Yoga teachers, is like, this is a hugely important place to help our people. Because when we connect to our spirit, then a lot of the other things that plague us, eating disorders included, just start losing their power rapidly. We know our worth. We know just how incredibly vast and mysterious we are. And therefore, when we go into learning, or we go into a work situation, or we go into a lover situation, we bring that gorgeous beauty with us. Instead of like, oh my God, I need to get cosmetic surgery in order to be acceptable to my lover. It's like, that's so painful. Like whoever, it's that I'm not enough no matter what I do. And I have to look it up in the magazines to tell me what's going to make me enough and what's going to make me sexy and what's going to make me successful. And the shit doesn't work. It's so annoying because it's not what the problem is. It's like putting a bandage on an area that doesn't need a bandage. It's useless. So working with that, connecting to what's real and what's meaningful inside, connecting to our authentic self, and then even deeper, connecting to our spirit and learning how to live with our spirit intact and our spirit dictating our decisions. It's like, oh my God, that's such a different way to live. And it makes everything so thrilling and passionate. And we don't have thrilling and passionate for most of us as a day-to-day thing. We go to our pleasure chest for our day-to-day thrilling stuff. And that's usually not a priority, much less a way of living. And so shifting that whole paradigm, whether you are doing a job that, the best thing you can say about it is it pays the bills. And that's pretty valuable. Keeping a roof over your head and food in your mouth, that's something I really respect. So the job may not be where you're thrilled, but if you bring your spirit to it, everything takes on a different sheen. It's like seeing and sensing in 3D instead of flat black and white and deaf. That's the difference to it. And what you bring to your interactions with another person, your mate, your children, your employees, or your bosses, or whatever, is just radically different. It's such a profound way of changing your life, is learning to connect to your spirit and then being brave enough to quest for what brightens your spirit in your day-to-day actions, and what are the things that make you dim down or shut down, and then making that warrior's choice to brighten your spirit. Even if you're doing something you don't like, how do you do it in the highest quality way because you deem that thing necessary for your ongoing survival? Like if you're in a job that you don't like. I mean, there's a lot of us that do that. but we feel like this is the best thing we can do in order to support our family or whatever our choices are. You can still bring in this amazing quality, and all of a sudden this thing which was sort of drab and irritating or boring or whatever, it changes because you're bringing something to it that you never did before.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and I felt that when I feel that connection to my own spirit. It all that pleasure and enthusiasm of life, it almost just comes accidentally. It's not something that I have to pursue and chase after. As long as I just go after that quest that you spoke of to connect, then all the pleasure and all the benefits just kind of pour in. It's just part of the process. And I've that's one of the biggest things that I've really enjoyed working with you and Forrest Yoga